Biomes and Adaptations. A habitat is an environment that provides the things an organism needs to live, grow, and reproduce. We know that organisms need food, water, and space in order to survive. Take a look at this picture. A prairie dog at the ocean or a lake. What is this prairie dog missing in this habitat in order for him to live, grow, and reproduce? First, let's start with location. A prairie dog lives in the prairie, which is a grassy area. Water and sand are not grassy. What kind of food does a prairie dog eat? Usually small invertebrates, things that don't have a backbone. You're going to have a hard time finding those in this kind of environment. Worms, beetles, and those kinds of things don't really grow here. The prairie dog also doesn't have any protection from the kinds of predators that live here. In their habitats, prairie dogs have burrows that they go into in order to sleep and to protect themselves from predators. There's no way to burrow here. The sand would fall in. The prairie dog has adapted to the environment that it lives in so that it is able to live, survive, and reproduce with the resources that it has available and the other organisms that it interacts with. So what kind of things do prairie dogs interact with? Well, all organisms interact with two kinds of things, biotic factors and abiotic factors. The biotic factors are the parts of a habitat that are living or used to be living. Take a look at the picture. How many biotic factors can you find? What are some examples of the biotic factors in this prairie dog's habitat? Here's what I see and what I can infer. Flowers and grasses, the prairie dogs, the ferrets, the eagle, an owl. Worms and bacteria do live here even though you can't see them in this picture. And decomposing matter, the dead stuff, dead plants or animals, and the poop that everybody makes. The abiotic factors in an environment are the non-living parts of an organism's habitat, things that were never alive. What are some examples of the abiotic factors in the prairie dog's habitat? Here are some that I found and can infer. Sunlight, soil, rocks, water, gases like oxygen, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen that are in the air, and the temperature. We will spend a lot of time over the next few weeks talking about ecosystems and biomes. So let's start with ecosystem. An ecosystem is the organisms living together and interacting with all of the other living and non-living things in their environment. And a biome is defined by the climate, which includes temperature and rainfall, and the types of organisms that live there. There can be many ecosystems in one biome. And remember that a biome doesn't necessarily exist only in one geologic place. For example, there are lots of different deserts, and they are on different continents, but they all share the same climate and the same types of organisms. Organisms have many different types of adaptations, way too many for us to talk about all at once here, but here are a few examples for you. Plants have an adaptation called dormancy. It's kind of like animals hibernating. A lack of light decreases the amount of photosynthesis that a plant can do, which decreases the amount of energy that it has. This causes many plants to lose their leaves in the fall, so they go into that hibernation or dormancy over the winter when there's not enough light for them to make enough energy to survive. In the spring, when we get more daylight, the plants use their energy reserves to create new leaves so they can start photosynthesizing again. Plants also have phototropism. That's when they bend their stalks and leaves toward the light. This is a huge advantage in areas where plants are limited in the amount of light they can get by other plants or even by buildings. You can even try this at home. Take your house plant and put it in a window. You'll notice that the leaves and the stems start to bend toward the window. After a couple of weeks, turn the plant around and then watch as the leaves and stems start to bend toward the window in the opposite direction from where they currently are. Animals have tons of adaptations, but here are a few examples for you. Desert animals need to conserve water, and animals that live in cold places need to find a way to keep warm. You will get a chance to investigate the different adaptations of plants and animals in specific biomes around the world.